Assalamu alaikum. Today is our online 17th lecture, and today's lecture is also related to the previous topic, that was magnetism. So we will continue and we will try to complete the electromagnetism and magnetism. So let's start. So today the first topic which we will cover will be electromagnetic induction. So what is electromagnetic induction? Electromagnetic induction is the process by which a current can be induced to flow due to the changing magnetic field. I think it's very simple definition. Let's read the description. So electromagnetic induction is the process of generating electric current with the magnetic field. It occurs whenever a magnetic field and electric conductor move related to one another, so the conductor across lines of forces in the magnetic field. Okay, if I talk about current, which we previously in few classes back we read, what is current actually? The current was actually the motion of the particle. So when the particle move or transfer energy, so that is called current. So in magnetic induction, those charges are moved by electro you can say those charges are moved by magnetic field. As in the picture you can see, there is magnetic field between north pole and south pole, and when the wire or a conductor passes through that field, the charges will start moving, and that is called the current, and that can be measured from voltmeter, ammeter, or any type of AC. I have a animation for this. Let's watch that animation. So in this animation, I came through this was on internet, electromagnetic induction, and they explained electromagnetic induction very nicely in this. So let's start this. So here what they are saying, there are two magnets, okay, and north pole and south pole are there, and what they will do with these magnets,
Here's what I found.
there is a magnetic field between these poles, we take an electrical conductor, connect the conductor with the cable and with the voltmeter. Here you see, if we go a little bit back here, you see, after connecting the wire, these particles are in static position, they are not moving. But when we will put this in between the magnetic field, then there will be some changes. So check what will be the changes. See, as it moves near the magnetic field and passing through the magnetic field, the charges start moving. And what is the moving charge? It produces current. So that is called electromagnetic that we are studying. See again. Okay, so from this video animation we have now clear idea what is electromagnetic induction. If we talk in simple words, then electromagnetic induction is the process of generating electric current. How electric current is generated? Because the current means the particles are in moving. So when the wires and conductors passes through the magnetic field, due to the magnetic field those charges start moving, and when the charges will start moving, then it will form current. So current formed due to the magnetic field, that is called electromagnetic induction. Now the thing is, how this is this described? Electromagnetic induction can be described in two ways. The first one is Faraday's law and the second one is Lenz's law. So in today's topic we will cover these two laws, and we will study about the brief history, their definitions, their applications. Why their applications? Because I think the most important thing for us is to know that where these laws are used in our practical life, because learning only the definition, maybe after some time, 1 month 2 month, you will forget. Like you read a lot of definitions in FSC of physics, but now when you are reading again in the applied physics, you need to learn again. But if you know the practical examples of these laws, then you will never forget. So let's start with the Faraday's law. So this is the picture of Michael Faraday, and the second picture, he is delivering a lecture on a Christmas to the people, because in the past these scientists, they used to deliver the lectures in order to introduce their theory, their knowledge and their inventions. So who was he? He was a British person, and he is one of the most important scientists for humanity. Only not Newton and Einstein was the scientist. There are many scientists which are very you can say innovative, and their inventions are the key inventions they have. So one of them is Michael Faraday. He was a British person, and one of the most famous inventions are his processes of Faraday's law. Although only he had basic studies, he was very self-taught and interested in physics and chemistry from very young age. So he begins to experiment with what he knew, arriving at indications that led him to discover the electromagnetic induction, and later to carry out an experiment in which he achieves electrostatic induction, giving rise to the principles known as Faraday's cage. So today we will also study about the Faraday's cage. What is Faraday's cage? So being interested in both physics and chemistry, electromagnetism and electrochemistry, he continues to make studies and notes regarding to both subjects, when around I think 1834 he begins to formulate the so-called Faraday's law of electrostatics, which focus on calculating in a quantitative way the amount of energy disposed in the electrodes. So this was a brief history of Faraday, that he was a scientist related to physics and chemistry, and one of the most remembered his inventions are Faraday's law. So what is Faraday's law? Faraday's law of induction: the instantaneous EMF induced in a circuit is directly proportional to the time rate of change of magnetic flux through the circuit. So the EMF induced in a conductor due to the changing magnetic field is proportional to the rate of change of flux. So in simple words, the instantaneous EMF induced in a circuit is directly proportional to the time rate of change of magnetic flux. So you can say Faraday's law is the rate of change of magnetic flux through the circuit. So what are the examples where we use Faraday's law? Because nowadays uh, maybe you know these applications like this written electric motors, induction glass, ceramic hobs or magnetic brakes, but you don't know that Faraday's law was using. Why? Because Faraday's law is the rate of change of magnetic flux in the circuit. So how in electric motors Faraday's law is used for the creation of these gadgets? Then because in electric motors, and second is generators, you can say, because generators and motors both use Faraday's law. A generator converts mechanical energy into electrical energy, which is why it's useful during a power outage, and a motor does the opposite and convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. So this makes them useful for powering vehicles. So electric motors, generators, and induction glass and magnetic brakes, these all are the examples, or you can say applications of Faraday's law. Faraday's cage, what is this? When an electrical charge accumulates outside a metal box, the electrons in the metal that makes it up move to cancel any charge that is on the inside. This is precisely what Michael Faraday discovered with Faraday cage, that an electric charge can never be transferred to the inside of the metal box or covered with an electric mesh. So this is the Faraday cage. In the right picture, let me show you. Okay, in this picture, this is Faraday cage, and this is the nowadays Faraday cage used in different type of parties, clubs, in concerts, just to make cool, looking like cool. So this is not only for making things cool and interesting. There are physical and very important applications that we will study now. So what was this cage? In 1836, Michael Faraday, he made this Faraday cage. It was a rectangular or square container, whereas it is formed by a conductive material such as aluminium or metal, producing a null concentration of external electric field, and in turn in the interior a conductor is generated in null equilibrium. Adapting itself to that, one of the sides of the cage is maintained with negative charge and the other side is without electron, producing only a positive charge. So what was actually this cage? This cage was actually a container that was made up of conducting materials such as a wire mesh or several metal plates, which makes the concentration of electrostatic field generated inside no exchange electrical charges, serving as protection or electrical shielding. So why he make this? This is a brief history and you can read from here. At the beginning in 18, the British Michael Faraday, with the studies in both physics and chemistry, began to experiment, leading to the clues that led to the discovery of electromagnetic induction. Actually, before Faraday's law, uh, no one know. You can say it was the most important discovery of electromagnetic. Before that, people think that if there is no material or a medium is empty, then how energy is transferred? So that was because of electricity and magnetism. So Faraday study about this, and when he do the Faraday's law, after that he invented a box, and the working of the box was that even if a very high electric charge is made on that box, but the thing or anything inside that cage or box can never be affected by the high voltage or anything implemented on that box. So Faraday succeeded in demonstrating this by conducting an experiment in which he used an ice bucket and a metal sphere, thus lowering the sphere charged with static electricity into a metal bucket on a wooden chair that served as insulation for the bucket from the ground. When this sphere managed to go down and enter the bucket without touching it, the charge found on the bucket surface were redistributed from the electrostatic induction, giving rise to the principle known as Faraday's cage. So I think now you know what was Faraday cage. It was just a box made up of aluminium or any conducting material. So why he made this? What applications are there? So the applications are these are the applications which use Faraday's cage. The first one is to present security against lightning or lightning. Whenever the lightning strike on the box, something inside that box cannot be harmed because of the Faraday's cage principle. What is Faraday's cage principle? That is described here and here also. So when you will read several times this and this history cage, you will know that this cage was built so that the external energy will not affect the something inside the box. So that's why this box was used for protecting from the lightning. So whenever there are cars, buildings, chambers, aeroplanes, anything in which there are humans and in which we want to protect something from lightning, we use Faraday's cage law and we use Faraday's cage for that. Second application is the need of protective suits. Whenever the engineers or workers who deal with high voltage electric wiring or materials or loads, they wear special type of shoes and their clothes. So that is also a type of Faraday's cage, because external energy, high voltage will not affect the body that is inside the clothes or the protective suit. So that is also the Faraday's cage. Electric motors. Faraday's motor prototype served as the starting point of electric motors that can be seen years later. The one proposed by Faraday was primitive but at the same time complex, which make the motors as known today. So in electric motors also, the prototype that is used is from the Faraday's cage. The last is insulators and inhibitors. So insulator also the same thing. The simplest definition for Faraday's cage is that the external force, external energy will not affect something inside the box. That thing is used in for lightning securities, for protective suits, for motors, insulators, for all types of applications. So now you understand that what are the practical applications of Faraday's Faraday's cage. Now we move toward the Lenz law. That is the second thing which describe electromagnetic induction. So what is Lenz law? Lenz law tells us the direction that current will flow. This is the simple definition. If you want to know the direction of the current, the Lenz law is there. It states that the direction is always such that it will oppose the change in flux which produced it. This means that any magnetic field produced by an induced current will be in the opposite direction of the change in the original field. I think in FSC we study about the right hand rule and those, that is the Lenz law also. So Lenz law is typically incorporated into Faraday's law with a minus sign. So what was Faraday's law? You add minus in that, that is Lenz law. The inclusion of which allows the same coordinate systems to be used for both flux and EMF. The result is something called the Faraday's Lenz law. So here you add minus here to the Faraday's law, that is Lenz law. In practice, we often deal with magnetic induction in the multiple coils of wire, each of which contribute the same EMF. For this reason, an additional term N, that is N represents the number of turns on the wire. You see electric motors or transformer, there are the turns of the wire, that is called the, that is represent N. So the formula we add the N. What is N? N is the number of the turns. So what are the applications for? Before application, I want to tell you that Lenz law is also here. I think I didn't add the history, but you can read from the book history also that who was Lenz, like I told you who was Faraday's. So you can read the history from the book that I recommend to you. So now the applications of Lenz law, where this Lenz law is used, what are their applications? So alternators are the devices. In alternators they are used. Alternators are the devices that generate alternating electric current. They are made up of two essential elements: the rotor, which cause the hole to rotate, and the stator, which surrounds the previous one and rotates around its axis. So here rotation is coming in alternators. So what was the work of Lenz law? Lenz law tells the direction of the current. So in this alternators, Lenz law is used. These alternators generate an alternating current with the purpose of being used for motors generating in turns mechanical energy starting from electrical energy with only the connection of brushes of an alternator with another generator. This induced a reorientation and an indefinite turns of spiral of the second alternator while the contribution of a current is counted. Example, one of the examples of Lenz's law found in everyday life is approximation of the south pole of the magnet to the loop, which generates that the induced electromagnetic force is negative and opposes the cause it produces. The current circulates through it in such way that the loop behaves like a south pole in front of the magnet, which it must try to repel. So for this purposes Lenz's law is used. In simple, Lenz's law is used whenever you are finding the direction of the current. So in today's lecture we study about what is electromagnetic induction. So what was that? Electromagnetic induction is actually the process of generating electric current with the help of magnetic field. And how it is described by Faraday's law and by Lenz's law. So what was the Faraday's law? Faraday's law is actually the change of magnetic flux through the circuit. And what were their examples? Faraday's law in electric motors, generators, magnetic brakes. Faraday cage. What was the cage? Cage was actually that rectangular box. What was made of? It was made of aluminium or any type of conducting material. And what was the advantage? The external force or external high charge will never affect the body or any object inside the box. And what were the applications for this? Applications were preventing the from the lightning, any type of box, and the protective suits, electric motors and insulators. The last one is Lenz's law. What is Lenz's law? Lenz's law is actually used for the direction of the current flow, and its example, one of the only example is alternators, where rotors and stators are there and we found the direction of the current. So these were the two laws which we studied today, and we completed our electromagnetism and magnetism. I will check if one or two topics are there that we will cover in Wednesday's lecture, and then we will move towards our new topic, that is optics or optical physics, and most probably next week we will start that. So if you have any questions or confusion related to this topic, you can directly contact me on my WhatsApp. So thank you for today's lecture.